and welcome to another Philden Street Yard update. Today I'm going to finally wire up all the lights on my layout. So that means crawling underneath, fighting with the soldering iron and getting all the lights that are positioned in these buildings with the little droppers and resistors soldered in place, running on a wiring loom to a separate controller other than my DCC unit, and hopefully getting it to work and not kill myself in the process. So let's crawl underneath and show you what I better do. So you can see with the goods shed here, I've had it built for a little while now, but it's removable. So when I take that off there, you can see some detail inside that you will see through the door of the structure. It's one of those Walker Models New South Wales G2 goods shed kits that I have modified to look a bit more Victorian. But you can see down here, I've just drilled some holes, poked up some little 2 amp, I think they are, LED lights with some resistors wired on the bottom. They're all underneath, the same as over here on the brewery warehouse. I've left that so the whole kit can be lifted up, removable, and then underneath I've got holes here to run some wiring looms up so that I can get that to sit back in place with the wires on it. These are just some of those little foam inserts that you get, obviously packed with a lot of the model train carriages that you get. I've just cut them up, glued them and positioned them there because they make a soft little guide so that when you put your building back in place, voila, it just rests in place there and it's quite simple. The downside is when I take this to an exhibition, it's going to have to have the buildings separately packed up. That's okay. If anything happens or I want to add further detail into it or change lighting, if something happens in years down the track, I can do so. The other thing you'll notice here too is a couple of these yard lights that I've got glued into position. I've just scoured the base of it with a sharp hobby knife, scraped away all the ballast that's there. These have been glued into position using some super glue. And the wiring has the little droppers and resistors already in place, sitting underneath just waiting to get connected. So I've got a wiring bus loom that I'm going to run as a main wire along the bottom of the layout. And getting underneath here to show you, I've got all the little dropper feeders here, which is today's job, to wire them onto that loom, goods shed, so on, so I can try and keep the wiring nice and neat. Put a couple of these little clips up here like I have with the track feeder wires, and then run it down underneath into this big schmozzle of wiring here that goes into the back of the NCE power cab. I'll run the wiring loom for the accessories onto a separate controller because what that's going to do is not drain power from my power cab when I have that in operation. So as you can see, yes, I've burnt my fingers in the process again doing wiring. The swear jar is full, but that can mean only one thing. Yes, we have lights. So I would say, job well done. Now, I've got to get on next to doing the bus depot. I want to complete that scene now that the light is in place there with a fence around there as well. So let me show you how I got that process done. downstairs to get all the materials ready to build the bus depot, and also grab one of these little modern railway miniatures models of a 3D printed electrical cabinet I found on Facebook. Seems my wife's found swear jar and replaced it with dress receipts. So, lesson learned. Next time, I'll be good, and hopefully this hobby won't get any more expensive in the process. So, let's get this bus depot and all the scenery completed. So there you have it. I now have lights in Philden Street Yard. Effectively everything from the Philden Street overpass for the length of the yard itself is now complete. The bus depot is finally done. Scenery and fencing are in place. There's lights there. There's lights in the goods shed, the diesel service tracks, the microbrewery, and also at the rear dock. Up here is the namesake Philden Street overpass. That's my next project, and these two structures to effectively be able to say that this project layout is finished. So join me next time. Don't forget to give it a like and subscribe so you don't miss out. And hopefully with the next episode of Philden Street Yard, we will wrap up the build on this shelf layout, and I will have it ready for an exhibition next year. Till then, cheers.